Welcome to the Put On Waivers Media Group, home of the Put On Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of the Student Body Right, USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and I am podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle. So, a lot of things going on with USC as they keep snagging people from UCLA. They're taking the cream of the crop. The minor league system that is Westwood has been supplying some nice talent for USC here. And there was a little bit of a panic before the week started, but now we'll kind of cipher through and let you know what's going on. In this episode, we talk about Danton Lynn, his defense last year with UCLA a little bit, and then also talk about Kamari Ramsey and John Humphrey. If you like the show, if you don't like the show, you can like, leave a dislike. Also, the comments. We love comments. We post those to Twitter, and we talk about those comments on the show. Any questions you might have for myself, any questions you want me to ask Lincoln Riley, because I will be at the press conference out there in San Diego for the Holiday Bowl when they place Louisville. First time they ever played Louisville before, and then you see and the storied history of USC and the recent success of Louisville. They've never played each other, so that should be a fun time out there in San Diego. Like I always tell everybody, you never need an excuse to go visit the great city of San Diego. Danton Lynn, Kamari Ramsey, John Humphrey. So kind of a trio of one coach and a couple of players come over from UCLA to USC. We love that. The transfer portal has been nice here as far as that goes. And I'm going to be showing a lot of just probably a horrifying situation for USC fans. But when UCLA went to the Coliseum and kind of just destroyed, Caleb Williams and company, as far as that goes, they just did a great job. And I just want to talk about a lot of things that they do in that game. And I think what I saw from when I'm watching film with Kamari, watching film with John, they're part of a defense that has great communication. You'll see in this game, in the all-22 shot that I'm showing you, is just that they just communicate well together. They're in concert together. Everything. There's nobody scrambling. There's nobody looking at the armband, scrambling at the line of scrimmage before the ball snapped. They know where to be, and they rally to the football. They do a great job of that communication part, because part of it is just the biggest thing is the communication. When you look at Kamari Ramsey, the safety, 6'1", 205, just a guy who can really move and play that deep safety for you. And then if you need him to come and excuse me, go get that tackle for loss, he can do that as well. So he can play on the line of scrimmage and also drop down and play in the slot sometimes as well. That outside corner, that big, long, prototypical NFL type guy as you like. 205, 6'2", from Pasadena, California, John Humphrey. When you watch it all 22, he's number 6, and his teammate is number 27. But they just work together consistently in the communication. They're talking. They look over to the sideline to get the signal, and then they just do a couple hand gestures, and they're into the play. So that is way better than watching Mason Cobb scramble, all these guys scrambling, and it's not even their fault. It's just that the communication from the sideline, like the really ridiculously complex Al Squinch defense, really wasn't a good fit for this USC team, and probably wasn't a good fit for pretty much anybody. Discipline, they're always in their path, they're always in their lanes. Nobody was like ridiculously out of position, even on the beautiful touchdown pass that Caleb Williams threw in the game. It was a great pass. It had to be where it had to be, but everything had to be perfect. You can live in that world defensively where if everything has to be perfect for them to score, you good. It's just simple as that. You're good because a lot of times they're not going to be perfect. You can force them into mistakes, and they force 3 turnovers in this ball game as well. When you try to go laterally against this defense that Danlin has, and against Humphrey and against Humphrey and Ramsey, they are great in pursuit of the football, and you can see how many blue jerseys were tackling not just one Trojan but several Trojans. I mean several Trojans. They always came in 3 or 4 deep. I had a it was funny because on Twitter I saw a guy who was saying something about USC is going to the Big Ten. They go into a gunfight with a butter knife, and that's what he called it. I wonder, I think people were really quick to judge a lot of the things and just going kind of all panic mode because Oregon got this person, Oregon got that person. I mean, a lot of players that Oregon got are very good young players. I'm not trying to diss any of that. They do a great job of NIL, do a great job in the getting those kids in there. They're gonna pay high school kids. That's something that USC has to kind of figure out how they want to handle that situation. But at the end of the day, some of those guys aren't going to be there in a couple of years, and some of those guys aren't going to can be able to contribute to their team, to that team, and for a couple of years. These guys who USC just got from UCLA, they're coming in guns blazing, ready to go. Ready to go as far as that goes. So good job picking those guys up. Like I said, we talked about the communication, talked about the discipline, the pursuit of the football is amazing by this team, by both of these guys. They pursued the football very well. You can do a lot of different things defensively with them too. So if you want to play zone, you want to play man. I mean, they're good and proficient in both, and they don't miss a lot of tackles. They rap, they rap, and that's like the biggest thing that you want to see them be able to do in this defense, because you can't let especially if you're like you're like Kamari Ramsey, you're the last line of defense. You're the goalkeeper. So if somebody gets by you, they're probably scoring. So you like to see that as well. I think the last point I had was, as far as the defensive front goes, they did a good job of like mixing up the rushes towards the quarterback, rushing 3, rushing 4, all those things like that. So that was always cool to see too. But as far as these two go, I mean, you see, USC has a tremendous they went from I don't know what's going on to tremendous depth. So Chris Trevino kind of laid it out for everybody on Twitter. They got Ramsey, they got Arnold, and this is all the defensive backs. Defensive backs are going to come with next year. They got Ramsey, they got Arnold, Jalen Smith, Zion Branch. You got Trayvon Figgins, Christian Pierce, who I love, Anthony Beavers, Marquise Gallos. You got Travis Boatwright, and then you got if Shaw and you got to see if Shaw and Kalen Bullock come back. So Kalen Bullock might go to the NFL. We'll see if he does that or not. But Kalen Bullock with these guys, listen, I don't know what Kalen's plans are, but if Kalen did want to come back, whew, that'd be a hell of a secondary as well. And I think if Ramsey, if Arnold, Smith, Branch, if all these guys can just Humphrey and Humphrey as well too. It'd be nice if those guys can stay healthy. Then USC can bring along Branch and Figgins and Pierce, and Marquise and Boatwright, all those guys like that. That's what you want to do. You don't want to throw the freshman out there immediately. You want to bring them on later in the season. or hopefully you get some one-sided games so you can give them some opportunity to get some burn there as well. But that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. Like if they can keep those guys healthy, and if you go through their game logs, they usually play all the games. Tough players, really do a good job out there in the secondary for Danton Lynn, and who was a former college safety as well. Excited to see what this team they can do, because they have a lot of different ways they can get you in the defensive backfield, a lot of ways they can get you in the linebacking core. That's just saying if Eric Gentry comes back. Eric Gentry is a huge piece. They got to have Eric Gentry come back. But if he comes back with what they have at linebacker already, then you're just looking at defensive line and defensive tackle. And then, we'll take it there, because I do think they have edge players on this USC team who are going to really benefit a lot from the teaching of Danton Lynn and what he does defensively. So Student Body Right, USC podcast. Just getting my notes ready. I got a lot of work to do because we got to go get my credentials tomorrow for the Holiday Bowl, USC and Louisville. So that's going to be fun. Press conference is going to be fun. They got a bunch of different events down there. So if you are in the San Diego area, maybe holla at me if you see me. I'm not shy. I'm not hard to find. I'll be outside. No question about it. So Humphrey, Ramsey, they joined the club, man. They joined the club. They are Trojans now, and I think they're definitely big time additions. Don't let anybody try to tell you that these guys aren't. I saw a couple of Oregon Duck Twitter accounts that I follow, and they immediately said Humphrey and Ramsey are really going to help USC. So when the opponents are telling you that, damn well that USC did a good job getting these players in, and that's what you want. That's what you really want. You want those players to come in and play great. I think they have an opportunity to do that, especially with Coach Lynn and Coach Belk. That secondary, both guys who really specialize in secondary play, should be fun to watch this upcoming season. So we'll see what happens. More to come. I'm still waiting for that. I'm still waiting for that quarterback, Lincoln. I'm not. What's Mr. Howard doing? Well, let's see what's going on. I might have to ask him that question when I get down there, but we'll see. Student Body Right, USC podcast. As always, folks, fight on.
Great pass play for Washington. Penix going far side.